So after this bowl game, I'll start go training for the combine. Really, you go start training for pro day because pro day is a guarantee. Basically, an NFL scout will call it your agent or call someone and be like, "We want to see this kid at the combine. We want to see how he tests." And I think it's if like 10 or more teams call, it's like, well, we might as well send him to the combine. So I've had a lot of interest from what I've gathered so far.
Step into the Fieldhouse, your front row seat to legendary victories and untold stories. Hey, I'm your host, Lance Lunner, breaking down sports from the inside out, along with co-host Jimmy Lackey. It's more than just a game. It's the Fieldhouse Podcast. Hey, welcome on in. It's the Fieldhouse Podcast. It's a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network. We have Jimmy Lackey, CEO, main man here at Kids Inc., and I'm your co-host, Lance Lunner, as well.
You're the host. I'm the hack.
Okay. Well, whatever. We'll keep it like
Host
that.
and the hack.
We've got a special one today, and it's podcast number 33. We have Jalin Conyers in. Yeah, the Jalin Conyers, one of the great athletes in 806 history. Just some of his resume: won a state basketball championship at West Texas, played in Jerry's World with Groover for a state championship. COVID hit, and the Groover Greyhounds didn't get a play for that state title that year. He was with that, and his college football career included Oklahoma, Arizona State, and then this past year at Texas Tech. We want to welcome into the Fieldhouse Podcast, the Jalin Conyers. Jalin, my question is this. It's early, but what's the best thing that happened to you today?
The best thing that happened to me today? Getting called to come on the podcast.
Okay, very cool.
Sweet.
I like that answer. I like that a bunch. Yeah. What about you?
We'll get you paid for that, afterwards.
Yeah. What about you, Jimmy?
Getting ready for our staff Christmas party today. Had some things to do a little bit this morning. So yeah, it's a fun day
You like
for
those
our
type of parties?
Oh yeah, our staff has a good time.
Do you guys do it right?
I don't know. It's just a time to chill.
Maddie's on the outside looking in. Does he do it right? Okay.
She's not got to go. This
is your first.
And she's out. Yeah, she came in to get the podcast done today, and she's got things to do. So
yeah. Hey, this is our number 33. We have a tradition here on the Fieldhouse Podcast. Whatever number we're doing, we kind of pick a player who impacted our lives or we liked a lot. And it's 33, Jalin. Do you have can be a former teammate, somebody, one of your boys or somebody you looked up to growing up, or 33? Who you think?
33. The first person that came to my mind for some reason is Tony Dorsett for the Cowboys.
That's mine.
That's I've always been a Cowboys fan growing up. Also knew on Madden I played as Sammy Baugh as a quarterback.
Okay, wow,
that's awesome.
I know who that was, and then I'll just go ahead and shout out old teammate Groover, Bryce McLaughlin, wore 33 in high school when we went to state. So
that's awesome. Those are great
That's
ones.
outstanding.
Wow, I love that.
That's good. Who's yours?
Mine's got to be, mine's between Larry Bird and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Jabbar changed the game when I was younger.
Yep.
Obviously, I wasn't a great basketball player, but he was so fun to watch. At that time, they didn't let freshmen play.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had to sit out. And the great story is his freshman UCLA team beat the varsity who won the national championship. So I love stuff like that. But
That's
Kareem,
back when his name was Lou Alcindor.
Lou Alcindor. And Kareem had the skyhook. So I'm going to go Kareem.
Yeah, he's such a good guy, and he's been such a good humanitarian too. Yeah.
He went through a lot.
Dorsett was mine because I got to see him live one time, and he took off for 63 yards, and he played for the Cowboys. So I got to go. I got to give him one. If I had a second, it would definitely be Kareem.
Jalin, on that subject, Dorsett, I met him a couple times in person, and he's just not as big as you think.
Oh no.
Is there anybody that you over your career have, maybe seen and then met? You did the NFL honors thing that, you've had some great experiences, but there was somebody like, wow, how'd that guy do that?
Kind of like George Kittle. Like when I went and trained with him early before the season, I was like taller than him, which like surprised me. It kind of made me realize how big I am. So that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool moment. But obviously he makes a lot of money doing something that's obviously a really good football player. But it was kind of cool to like see how much bigger I am compared to what I see on TV.
Yeah. One thing that I want to start it out with, if you don't mind, Jimmy, is Jalin is so gracious with his time. Like I was at the Stratford Groover game. Jalin was up there supporting his brother and also the Hounds that that's his town right now. And But all these little kids coming up, hey, you're Jalin Conyers, blah, blah, blah. You never really, you seem comfortable in that way where it's not like, oh my gosh, I got to do this again or signing autographs, taking selfies, whatever. What is it about that when you walk into a room, you have a presence? What is it about that you're okay with hanging out with little, letting them have a good time?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always just been like, what would if I was a little kid and I was seeing someone that I looked up to, like, how would I want them to react? I mean, I can remember countless times where I've always wanted I've asked like NFL players for autographs at games I went to, or just saw someone that I get to see on TV, and it means a lot. And I think another part is I have three little brothers that look up to me, and I've always kind of I've been able to like play in front of, and they've kind of seen what their brother's gotten to do, and hopefully encourage them to chase their dreams. So for me, I take it as a blessing. It's super cool. Not a lot of people get to play on TV, and kids know who you are. So I just try to take every bit of it I can, because when I'm done playing football, who knows who's gonna know who I am. So I'm definitely enjoying it while I have it.
As a young athlete, everybody's first time you can dunk. That was a big deal. Maybe sixth, seventh, eighth, I don't know, ninth. How young were you the first time you dunked?
I dunked a tennis ball in 7th grade, and I dunked a real basketball in 8th grade. But I tell everyone 7th grade because it sounds cooler.
We used to try, I couldn't even palm a volleyball. I got short fingers. I couldn't even palm a volleyball.
What was that like, man, the first dunk? I mean, that'd be a big deal.
I couldn't believe it. I remember actually the exact moment, because
where were you?
It was in my middle school gym with my best friend John Carl and Jonah Villanueva. I got two guys I played with at WT, and they saw me do it, and like we all kind of looked at each other like we didn't know what happened, and like we're like, did I actually like do it? And so I had to like try it again. I tried it again, and I did it too. So it was a surreal moment, and something I definitely won't forget, because I had two people there watching me, so it definitely felt like it meant more.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm going to go back on what Lance just said, is taking the time to do things like this. And, you've got more to do today. And it means a lot to us in the Panhandle that you don't forget where you came from. And I'm a big old school guy. And when you don't forget where you come from, that's gonna pay on for you. Like you said, after football's over, that's gonna pay dividends for you. And so kudos to you for that. And don't let that ever get away, because the 806 is special, and you know that.
No, absolutely.
I still say this. COVID changed a lot of things, because we live in a bubble around here, and not much from outside the 806 penetrated this little area up here until COVID, and then a lot of things found their way in here after COVID hit. But there's still a man's word and a handshake is still worth something around here, and those type things. And so I'm a real appreciative for you being that way. Those are the things that mean the most to me, because at the end of the day, it's all about respect. And I see that coming from you, and kudos to those that made that happen for you.
Is that a shout out to Mom too?
Yeah, I mean, my parents did a great job raising me. I mean,
Yep.
when I think back to that, I mean, when you talk about my parents, my grandparents, that whether it was taking me to camps all the time, or just letting me go out and play in the backyard for hours and hours, and not making me go in and do homework right away. I mean, I owe it all to them. And like I said, yeah, like I will never forget. People, it's funny because people will text me or call me or see in person, like, don't forget about the little people. I'm like, dude, like, what are y'all talking about? And I mean, it is like, this place is special. And like, I mean, obviously, I don't know where my career will take me, but I do truly believe, like, when I'm 30, 40, when my career's done, like, I'm going to be back here doing something, trying to help around here, whether it's coaching or, hopefully maybe if I have enough money, running some type of program to help kids, or, maybe something like Kids Inc., something like that someday, or come help out with Kids Inc. I just want to be able to come back, give back to where it started. Write that down.
Yeah, you go ahead and get that in writing. We're fixing to build a big complex. We'd love for you to be a part of it.
I love that. Hey, let's go back a little bit. At West Texas, you guys win a state basketball title. What was that like for that group? What made that group special for you guys?
I think for us, it was just like we went out and played like we didn't have a care in the world. We knew how good of a team we were, and I don't think it really hit us until we went and played at South Plains, and we played. I can't remember. I want to say we played the first game. We're like, dang, like we just killed these guys, and we're supposed to like lose.
Yeah.
And for me, at the time, I was a sophomore. I was still young. I was still kind of taking it in, enjoying it, but I just think there was a really tight-knit group. Coach Graves did a great job of putting us all together and just, finding our strengths and weaknesses and knowing what to do. And, I remember getting to San Antonio and like being starstruck and not knowing what to do. And then I had a crazy good game, and then I had a bad game after that. So humbling moment, but it was definitely a really cool moment. And I still have my state ring sitting on my counter in my room, so it's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's outstanding.
And then you go over to Groover and obviously have a great career there. Quarterback, you know what I mean? A year. So, did you want to be a quarterback at one time at the college level ever?
I mean, I always thought I was gonna be a basketball player. I mean,
Okay.
I tell
Yeah.
everyone that I still to this day believe I was a better basketball player than I was a football player. And but like I said,
Did
I
you
played
recruited heavily in that?
a
Sorry to
little. I
butt
mean,
in, but
no, you're good. A little bit. I mean, I went to Oklahoma State camp as a quarterback. Never got offered anything, but I always went just to better myself for my high school team. I never really thought about doing it in college, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I played quarterback at WT, then moved to Groover, played receiver, and then moved back to quarterback. And yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a wild ride, but I mean, I enjoyed it. And if you would have told me I'm sitting here about to go get drafted as a tight end, I would have said you're crazy. I would say
Yeah.
I would have been in the league already
Did you
playing
get
basketball.
recruited
But
heavily in basketball?
I think,
Could
yeah,
could
I
you
wouldn't
have?
say heavily, but Texas Tech could go ahead and told me they're probably going to offer me West Virginia,
Oh, wow.
Oklahoma State, a couple other schools were interested. So I was fully on that path to get ready to go do that, but then football came calling. So
Yeah, yeah, and you went, and obviously during that you really experienced the up and down. Speaking of COVID, you know, first of all, the boys from Groover get a chance to play in Jerry's World. How cool was that experience for your guys?
that was awesome. I mean, we were, getting to go, when we found out we were going to get to go play in Jerry's World and we got to go play in the state championship, it was super cool. Obviously it didn't end how we wanted it. We
Right.
got our tail kicked, but
Yeah.
it was definitely a cool moment. It's kind of crazy because it's come full circle. I played a game there in high school, and then I'm going to get to go play an all-star game there now too. So it's a real full circle moment, pretty cool moment. I'm excited to, go back in there and hopefully come out on top this time.
And then life hits. You guys get a chance to go back to San Antonio with Groover. Wow. December you're playing in Jerry Worlds. By March you're getting ready to play in the state basketball championship, and COVID hits. Take us into that. Are you guys literally in San Antonio at
Yeah.
that time?
So we had done our shoot around that morning.
Wow.
We're there all day, like hanging out in San Antonio, like nothing happened. And then I remember we were at dinner on the is it the board? No, it's not the
Riverwalk.
boardwalk. The Riverwalk.
Yeah.
On the Riverwalk, and we're at dinner outside eating with a big group, and then we just all like got the same notification on our phone at the same time that the tournament was canceled. And it was like it sucked because I mean, me personally, I'll tell you that team was insane, and we weren't going to lose whatever happened.
Yeah. I like that.
But yeah, no, it was tough, and especially for the seniors that just we had worked our tails off all year to get there and get to do that. But obviously, God has a plan, and He does everything for a reason. So it was a tough, unfortunate time, but we got through it.
What'd the UIL do for that team? Do they give you guys medals? What would they do?
Yeah, we got gold medals. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure all 4 teams got gold medals, which we hated. I mean, we were ready to go call. We were called and ready to go find a park somewhere and play it. We were really we were talking about DMing some of the other guys and saying let's go meet at the park and play before we go back. So
That would be
yeah,
awesome.
and I
What a
guarantee you
story
we
that
would
would
have played
be.
like a whole game. Yeah, so we were still competitive and wanted to, but we obviously got medals and we got a little recognition. But it's hard for us, we joke around all the time, me and Carter and all the old friends that like whatever the couple of the teams there have state banners in their gyms that they went in 2020 and COVID shut it down, and Groover does not do that because unless you win it, it doesn't count. So, that's one thing we joke around about is that we, unfortunately we're at a school that we went to a school that you have to win it to actually get your name put up there, but it's all right.
I like that.
I want to hear it from a player's perspective, particularly someone that's played at the Division I level like you have. Take us through a week. Ball game's over Saturday, and next week's Iowa State. Well, just throw Iowa State's on the menu, and you've got to go there. What does a week look like?
Okay, so Sunday, get to sleep in a little bit, then you have film from around 12 to 4. That's meetings, film, take notes over the game, and then you have a walkthrough on the next team for about an hour. So I get done about 6, and you're off the rest of the day. Monday would be an off day, but you still have a workout in the morning for about an hour and a half workout just to kind of get some blood flowing and kind of
Sure.
get the soreness out. And then practice Tuesday and that's usually your up facility from probably around like For us, it's probably around 12 to 7 to 8, around
Wow.
that mark.
Wow.
Wednesday is a morning practice, so we're there from about 11 to like 4. And then Thursday we have it's not called a practice, walkthrough, but it's a practice. So we'll do like a walkthrough practice for about an hour, have the rest of the day off to kind of recover. Like it's we call it a recovery day. You got to get around at least 2 hours of treatment is what we usually do. And then Friday will be walk through in the morning around 6 a.m. and then get ready to go to the team hotel for the rest of the day. Or if we have to fly somewhere, fly there.
Travel days Friday.
Yeah, travel day Friday, and then game Saturday, and then repeat.
Yep.
So
Do you have the same roommates on the road every time? Who gets to pick those?
yeah, usually they pick them for us at the beginning of the year. Then we stick with the same guy. Mine was Charlie. He played at Lubbock. What's the Mustang school? Coronado.
Coronado.
Lubbock Coronado. So me and him have known each other for a while. So it's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah. Is that you were at Oklahoma, Arizona State Tech? Is that kind of sort of the way all three of them did their weeks leading up to?
Yeah, very very similar. Yeah, OU I didn't play as much. I was a redshirt, and then COVID, of course, was going on.
Right.
So it was a little bit crazy and different schedule. But Arizona State and Texas Tech, yeah, it was very similar.
Yeah. Hey, take us in. You're from Grover, Texas, getting recruited heavily, and you choose Oklahoma. Take us back to that part of your time in your life.
Yeah, at that time, obviously Lincoln Riley is basically an 806 guy. He's from Muleshoe.
Yeah.
We related really well when I went on the visit and talked to him. Me and my mom still joke around that about we got in the car after we were leaving visit, and we were both talking about how much we wanted to hate it, but we didn't. So, got in the car and, made the decision that I was going to go to OU. Went to OU. Everything was going great. Obviously, COVID played a huge factor. And then I want to say that was the year of the rule where guys that participating code could come back for how many ever years eligibility they needed. So at that time, Jeremiah Hall was there, Braden Willis, Grant Calcaterra, a lot of those guys were there. So it was just kind of given that I was going to have to sit for 2 to 3 years. And at that point, I kind of just made the decision it's best for me to try to go play somewhere else. And no fault against OU. Obviously, it's COVID and, stuff happened. So, went to Arizona State to finish it out and ended up back at Tech.
Yeah, I know. The NIL and portal, you've lived it. Take us into that. How much has that changed the game? And as a player, the players finally have a little bit of say in where they're going to stay. It's not all with coaches. So when you decide to make a move, I'm in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
What happens? Tell us about it.
I mean, it's definitely changed college football. I don't even know if you call it college football anymore. It's more like minor league.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I've seen kids that, are freshmen coming to Texas Tech going to make more money than I would have. I made like almost my whole career. It's crazy, but it's a whole new process. But a lot of guys will get in the portal now. And I tell this to everyone all the time, but people get illegally recruited all the time. You have coaches texting you in the middle of the season to transfer after the year or whatever. So, it's definitely crazy, but you get in the portal, a lot of teams start calling you and you kind of get to go on visits. Like a guy I hosted the other night, he said he's had coaches calling him since week 4, I think, which is, that's still early in the season. So, he came on a visit and he instead of, usually you go figure out about the academics program and then you go talk to the coach about how much you want to play. Like that's how it was when I was in the portal. But now it's talking about how much is my contract going to be worth, how much y'all going to pay me, what are y'all going to give me with it. So
how early in the conversation does that come up?
I'd like to think that early, just because of how some guys are reacting. Like, I don't fault them. Like at that point, like, you see kids, 19-year-old kids making $1.5 million. Shoot, I'd ask for a little money too. But it's insane. I've talked to a lot of guys that have gotten the portal, and some of my friends that are getting in the portal or want to get in the portal, and they're just like, yeah, this team's offering me this. This team's offering me this. I'm like, I can't believe we used to just go to school, like go to and get a degree. Like that's what college football used to be. So it's definitely changing the game, and I think there definitely needs to put some boundaries on it. But it's college football right now, and you got to roll with the punches. So
it's hard to rope that cow back in once you've let him out of the pen.
Yeah,
for sure. And don't get me wrong, I think college athletes should get some like money. Like I don't disagree with that. I just think there needs to be a boundary to it.
Yeah,
sure. That's at the end of the day, like, shoot, I'll be honest, I don't want my kid, 18 years old, 19 years old, getting $1 million in a college town by himself for the first time. There's no telling. They probably don't know nothing about finances. They don't know nothing about a budget. They don't know nothing about what they want to buy and what they shouldn't buy. So, it's
paying
definitely
taxes.
something. Yeah, paying taxes on it. Yeah, like literally I just got my, I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah.
Whatever to pay taxes, they send
Your
it to you.
W-2.
Yeah, W-2. So.
And which friends to pick.
Yeah, truly.
Hey, I got to ask
You got a lot of new friends when you get in that
Oh, you
situation.
get a lot of new friends.
Everybody wants to be your
A
friend.
lot of
Yeah.
new family members too
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
Cody Campbell, though, is like he's on top of it right now in the
Mhm.
NIL, and he's at Texas Tech. So
Oh yeah, I mean, and like
So
I
you look
said,
at-
like take advantage of it. I mean,
Okay.
he's doing a
Yeah.
great, like like while we have it, he's doing a great job. He's recruited some great guys. I met a bunch of them, and I think Texas Tech's gonna be a problem next year.
Hey, at Arizona State, you made a name for yourself. You beat my Buffs really bad that day, and catching all those touchdown passes. But what was your Arizona State experience like?
It was fun. I really did enjoy it. It was a crazy time. I got recruited by a coach. I got fired 3 months after I was there, and then, moved on to
Herm Edwards?
Yeah, I got to be with Herm Edwards, and then he got fired, and then we had an interim head coach, and then we had Kenny Dillingham, who went from being 3-9 to now he's in the college football playoffs. So it was a crazy experience, but I wouldn't trade it for a world. I had a great time, made a lot of great friends, made a lot of great connections. Got to start my own podcast there, which was awesome, and kind of got me into this stuff in general of what I want to do, for a living. So, definitely was a crazy time, but definitely enjoyed it. And Arizona is a great place.
Your game on the field, did it improve too to the level that you're now an NFL prospect?
Yeah, I do. I think that's where, I mean, obviously where it all started. I think that's where I truly started to become a tight end. My first year, obviously still athletic, but was smaller, wasn't a great blocker. Second year I was there, got better at both. And then third year, got to where I didn't think I could honestly get better, but then obviously I got to Tech and I got a lot better. So, yeah, I mean, I owe a lot of it to, Coach Mons and Coach Wood and, even Coach Dillingham a little bit, just to, the stuff I got to do in that offense and how I got to prove myself a little bit. So, owe it a lot to them to
Yeah.
let me do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go into to position coach and what a daily routine is. I grew up a coach's kid, and so I'm real interested in what a daily routine looks like with your position coach.
Okay.
Talk about things that y'all talk about on a daily basis.
Yeah, so usually, like I said, like we'll have meetings in the morning, so we'll go to their meetings with them, and so like we'll say before practice, it will be a lot of going over the script, like the plays we have that day to go over. So say it's like a Tuesday, we'll have our first and second down script, like base plays stuff. So we'll go into a meeting for about an hour, go over that, go over an indie period, which is like 15 to 20 minutes of individual drills to do with him, whether it's footwork or catching the ball or whatever the case may be. And then with our tight end coach, Coach Cochran, he has expectations, like tight end expectations. So we call it our 1%, like 1% to get better at every day. So mine, for example, could be physical in the run game. That's my 1%. And then we'll have a WTD, which is win the day, which is like a quote or a video to kind of get us fired up for the day. Watch that. Go down to the field, have practice, go do all that, and then we'll have film with them afterwards. Well, for about an hour, hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on who we're playing. And we'll just watch the film and we'll go over what we did good, what we did bad, what we need to work on. And he might get in your tail a little bit, but it's out of love.
So Oklahoma, Arizona State Tech, terminology, different.
Yeah, I mean, I would say OU and Tech are probably the most similar. At OU, kind of both air raid at the time, like
Yep.
when Lincoln was there,
Oh, yeah.
both kind of the same thing. But even all three are different. I'd say more OU was, more air raid than anything. Like run game wasn't. Obviously, it's there. You got to run the ball, but it wasn't
Sure.
as much. And then obviously ASU was NFL style, pro style offense, which I came to like. Obviously, especially when now I'm preparing for the next level, it's gonna be really good for me. And then coming to Tech was air raid, but also run the ball. I mean, when you got Todd Brooks back there,
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah,
you
better
gotta
run it.
you gotta run the ball. So definitely different terminology, but I think it's honestly helped me out because when I go into meetings with coaches, they're gonna know I've been in 3 different offenses. So
Best arm you've ever ran routes for.
the best arm I've ever ran routes for, probably Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Jaden Daniels could sling it. Yeah, I was with him for a year, and I was like, whoa, like watching it. Caleb Williams is up there too, though.
See,
I was
listen,
with him for a
listen to
spring.
these names.
So
give
talk
us-
about people that you've
Yeah,
worked out
you've
with.
caught
Yeah, let's
passes
talk
from.
about that.
Yeah.
Okay, Spencer Rattler.
Wow. Well, and tell us something
Uh,
about each guy if you don't mind.
Spencer Rattler, I mean, he's definitely one of the smartest guys I've been around. He has really good arm talent, great accuracy. That's one thing I remember about Spencer.
And now you get to watch him in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caleb was a freak. Even as when I met him and he threw at me first time, he was 18.
Yeah.
Tanner Mordecai, he's in the league right now. He's
Yeah.
a backup. He was really good. So yeah, and then quarterbacks at ASU got Jaden Daniels. Watching him throw a deep ball was like the most perfect thing ever.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding. I saw him throw a ball like 75 yards, like in the air. He didn't even crow hop that much, which is like I was like just watching like this. Like it was crazy. Trenton Bourguet was my roommate for a little bit. He was a walk-on quarterback, and that kind of told like watching him throw the football. Honestly, was the most interesting because I mean, obviously as a walker, you're not expected to be that good, but he could rip it. I was like, oh, I don't think I could have done this. Like quarterbacks, like so Trenton, and then obviously getting here, Barron. I've been throwing with Barron since I was 8 years old. So I
Yeah.
mean, that was and probably the most comfortable for sure. Like I mean, it was like I mean, I've had like just had throwback memories like, oh my gosh, this is just like aired out camp. Like so that was
Yeah.
crazy. And then Will Hammond can spin it. He's a young freshman. He probably throws the ball harder
And
than
he'll
I've
play in the
ever.
bowl game.
Yeah, he'll be the starter for a bowl game.
And you're playing in the
Yes,
bowl.
I do plan to. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably throws the hardest football I've ever caught. Like he can
Like zip.
Oh yeah, zip.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Like it feels like a 98-mile-an-hour fastball coming sometimes, which obviously he'll figure that part
That's
out.
really
but-
interesting, Jalen. Do you have to adjust your hands or whatever your mindset to each of those quarterbacks
Mhm.
you were just talking about?
Yeah, I think so. Like for me, like with Barron and Will, I kind of have to adjust my eyes and realize like, so for me, how I think about it is Will's a lot younger. So, they're going to be a lot more sometimes uptight or like
Yeah.
more willing to get rid of the ball. So I'll turn my eyes quicker with Will. That's kind of just something I've had click in my head is like when you're a freshman quarterback, sometimes you want to get it out quick. So I turn my eyes probably about a second, maybe second and a half earlier than I usually would with Barron. Barron gets more into reads, and with Will, obviously he's really good, and he's going to be really good. He's going to make some freshman mistakes, but he's going to be really good in the bowl game. I truly believe that. But I just kind of have that tendency. All right, maybe look a little bit quicker just in case he gets some pressure, stuff like that.
A lot of seniors, Jimmy, won't play in the bowls now. That's okay. I get it.
Mhm.
But you've decided to play. What did that decision come down to, if you don't mind telling us?
I mean, for me, to be honest, like, I mean, people have asked me, like, oh, do you need to improve your draft stock? For me, I always grew up, unless you're a first round pick or you're hurt, you play in the bowl game. So, like, that's always how I grew up. I mean, I think it's a cool opportunity. We're going to be in Memphis, Tennessee, play an SEC team, better chance to get film. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, obviously, knock on wood, but like, you could get hurt. I could get hurt walking out of the door out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I get hit by the door or twist my ankle or whatever.
Let's
like,
hope
obviously,
not.
oh yeah, obviously, knock on wood, and hopefully not. But I mean, you could always like anything can happen.
Yeah.
So and then I signed up to play football, and that's I know what comes with it. With it comes with injuries and stuff like that. So if that's something that happens, obviously, I'm prepared for it.
Now, has Barron had his surgery?
Yeah, he
How'd
did.
it go?
He's good. He's been rehabbing the past couple of days. We still played some Xbox.
I've
stuff
never met
together, so-
Barron. His dad was a good friend back in the day. We
Mhm.
worked at WT
James,
together
yeah.
and known James a long time. I haven't talked to him in a while, but probably one of the most humble, kind-hearted people I've ever met. Just good, down to earth, and so it's been fun to watch his kiddo play. But I'm glad his surgery went well. Probably glad he got it done now.
Yeah, I think it's good that he got it done now. That way he comes back fully ready to
Yeah.
go next season because
Yeah.
he's going to be a big part, obviously.
Yep.
Speaking of Tech, you have the new. I saw a video you did for Tech on the new Womble, whatever you guys call it
Mhm.
down there. I'm not sure, but the new locker room.
Mhm.
Take us in, Jen. How nice is it, and how does that impact a player coming there? Because you kind of explained the NIL thing, where it's about the money, which I'm okay with
Mhm.
too. But how is that facility?
It's amazing. I mean, that's like the
What's
facility
so
we have right
amazing
now.
about it?
Like the facility we have right now, like it's what you expect when you go to an Alabama, a Clemson, a Florida State, like whatever the case is. It really is one of those. And I think when you talk about in terms of importance, like when you come to Texas Tech, obviously you're not going to be wowed by the area. Like
Right.
you're not going to come to Love and be like, oh my gosh,
Right.
look at all these buildings. You're not
Dust
going to do that.
storms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I think to see like, oh, you're in this like smaller town, college town, but look at the facilities they have and the things that they bring to the table in terms of the football program. For some guys, like, I mean, I talked to, like, for example, a tight end commit. He's like, I want to be at a place with not very many distractions and I can play the game and like, but I still have the amenities I want. And I was like he came on the visit and he committed the day after he saw it. So, I mean, I just think it's stuff like that for the, like, especially for the smaller town kids that grow up, in small towns of Texas or don't want to go to a Houston or anywhere that's like a Dallas, like, somewhere where there's a lot of distractions. Like
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
went to the University of Miami, like there's obviously a lot of stuff around. So
Yeah.
like even Arizona State for me, like it's like compared to Norman and Lubbock, it's way different. So I think it's a great job. Obviously, everyone that paid for it and got to do it, I think it's an amazing facility.
What's a locker like? What's the locker like? What's when you're just putting your stuff in?
There's like it's crazy because there's like a pad compartment at the top with like a glove compartment on the side. like where we set our helmet on top, there's a vent in it so it doesn't stink. So it like literally like shoots air like constantly through it. Our chairs are recliners and they like massage you so you can sleep in the chair. I think it's basically just so the coaches can try to keep you up there and not leave.
Yeah,
I think that's like
yeah.
I think that's their goal, is like
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
sure you don't want to leave. But it's definitely super cool.
Now, is there a place where you guys can play video games if you want, or things like that?
Yeah, players lounge. There's a
Wow.
players lounge. We have like a little mini hoop in there so you can shoot baskets. There's a pool table, ping pong table. There's actually a recording studio, which is kind of cool. There's a recording studio upstairs. I won't be using that, but some of the guys on the team that think
You
they're
can't
they're
sing?
rappers or singers can.
Rapper,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
but
awesome.
yeah, it's super cool.
Hey, one other thing I wanted, and then Jimmy can ask you a couple, but it had to be pretty surreal, or I don't even want to put any words in your mouth, but when you walked, I mean, you're a Groover guy, and the chance to walk out on the Jones, Abilene Christian for the first time as a Texas Tech Red Raider, wearing number 12. What was that when you experience like for you?
It was surreal, like you said. I mean, I've grown up a Tech fan my whole life. I probably went to over 30 games. I mean, as a kid. I mean, I have so many memories from going to Tech games. I told literally our new offensive coordinator the other day, like me and my grandpa were at the game where he started against Texas Tech. So like,
Oh, wow.
it's insane. And I mean, I was at the Texas game when Crabtree caught it.
Wow.
Like, I've been to some crazy games. So getting to walk out there and finally be on that field, and like, I mean, shoot, it felt like high school. I was back in the red and black, and I was out there and getting to have a good time, and it was super fun. So definitely surreal.
Why number 12? You know, that's not your typical tight end number.
Yeah, so I wore 10 at WT, and then I got moved up to varsity at WT, and I wore 14. And I kind of switched back and forth for those numbers there. And then when I got to Groover, they're like 10's I think they told me 10 is a small jersey and 14 is a small jersey. But for some reason, they had 12 in a large. I don't know why. But they're like, we have 12 in a large. And I was like, perfect. So they gave me 12, and I decided to roll with it after that. I thought it was a cool number, looked cool. So,
And then you stuck with it.
yeah, stick with it.
Yeah. Jimmy,
Oh,
he threw a touchdown pass this year.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
in a
Yeah.
game. So you got to tell us the call. They put you in. Go over the whole play.
Yeah, so in practice, they're like, all right, we're gonna call this play Groover. And I was like,
wow.
we're gonna call it.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're like,
You got to name it?
yeah. No, I didn't get the name.
Oh.
They named after they
Okay.
named it, and they just called it Groover. So like, we're
Okay.
gonna call it Groover.
Is this Kitley who did this
Mhm.
actually?
Yeah, Kitley and
Coach Kitley,
Cochran.
yeah.
So they were like, we're gonna line you up in the little B back position, like a wing back. We're gonna motion you back up to the running back position. We're gonna hand it off, and we're gonna fake a counter, and we're gonna have our receiver, we call it inside run block, and then release out on a corner. And we did it in practice. The first 3 balls I probably threw in practice were really wobbly. So I think they kind of, were worried about that. But I told them I wasn't very confident, but I acted like I was. I was like, I'm a gamer, guys. Like, don't worry. Like, I'm a gamer. Like, when I get in the game, it'll be a perfect throw. And surely enough, we got in the game and I made the throws. But yeah, I was glad I didn't have to throw another one. So, but yeah, it was a super cool deal. And definitely, I think I was only one of tight ends in the country to throw a pass. One, and me and Tyler Warren, I think. So definitely a cool company to be around.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic. You made a point a while ago that I think a lot of people don't think about. People from the outside, fans of the game, a kid wants to go to Alabama. They want to go to one of those SEC schools, one of the big name places. But you made a point that doesn't fit everybody. And you talk about being from a small town, and Lubbock may be a better fit. An Ames, Iowa may be a better fit. A Stillwater may be a better fit because the distractions are like what they're used to. That small town feel. And I never really had thought about that until you said that. But there's probably a reason why a lot of kids don't end up at a big school. It's because it doesn't fit them. And I
Mhm.
never really thought about that, because you just think the kid wants to go to here, 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 and here because that's the big name school. And
Mhm.
if it doesn't fit, they're not going to stay, and they're not going to be happy, and they may not be successful. And I think that's got to be a big part of it. I'd never thought of it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, that's
Never
pretty
thought
cool.
of it
Yeah,
that
yeah.
way.
Hey, are you take us in now? You're after the bowl game. Your life's going to change a little bit with the NFL Combine. Got a chance to. How does that work? They invite you. What happens?
Yeah, so after this bowl game, I'll start go training for the combine. Really, you go start training for pro day, because pro day is a guarantee. But obviously, hope to get a combine. But yeah, you get invited by or I guess you get nominated or basically an NFL scout will call it your agent or call someone and be like, we want to see this kid at the combine. We want to see how he tests. And I think it's if like 10 or more teams call, it's like, well, we might as well send him to the combine. So I've had a lot of interest from what I've gathered so far. My agent, he's not really my agent yet, but we are in talks about
Yeah.
possibly signing with them. He told me I've had a lot of interest, so it tells me hopefully there's going to be a combine invite in there. I got invited to a All-Star game, one of the top 2 games in the country.
Yeah.
So
Tell us about that invite. How cool was that?
it was really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be in Cowboy Stadium, so my family's going to get to come. It's a really cool deal. That bowl game and the Reese's Bowl game are 2 of the most prestigious college All-Star games in the country. So, I was blessed to get invited to one of them and going to go there and, show what I got.
Yeah, yeah. Are you looking forward to that experience?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. It's a mix between practicing with obviously the best guys in the country, and you get interviewed by teams. So like a lot of scouts and even some coaches and stuff will be there. So I'll be working on my interviewing skills and all that stuff too. With
I think
a
your
lot of
interviewing
people.
skills are going to be okay. We heard the questions are crazy, like the guys from Bushland. When they went
Yeah.
when they had to go through it,
Weston
they
and
said
Crockett.
like, when I'm asking, here's a brick, what would you do with it?
Yeah.
And like he said, like, I'm going to hit you over the head with it. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, you gotta have you gotta be prepared for weird questions and be ready to give back a weird answer. So that's kind of how I think about it.
We talked a little bit before, if you don't mind, take us in when you're an athlete like yourself. So you go train to get better at the combine skills, literally?
Yeah, you're working on your 40, you're working on your 5-10-5, your vertical, everything that a combine or a pro day would have to offer, you want to get ready for. And then obviously you still want to work on, catching the ball, having crisp routes, even footwork in the run game. Obviously we'll have a block and dummy sled where I'm at. We'll work on that. We're actually going to have a former NFL lineman come out and kind of, give us some tips and stuff like that, because obviously playing tight end, you got to be able to do both. So it's definitely going to be a cool process. I'm ready for it.
Is there a tight end that your game's sort of like in the NFL that you think, hey?
The first player that comes to mind, funny enough, is Taysom Hill. I think that's kind of my
Yeah.
I think about, obviously he used to play quarterback and still can play quarterback, and but he's dynamic. He do a lot of stuff on special teams. He's super athletic, and he can go up and get the ball too. I'd like to think I have a little bit better hands than Taysom Hill, hopefully. But yeah, that's kind of the first person I think of.
Yeah, I love that.
It's fascinating.
It is.
I mean, it's
amazing.
fascinating to sit here and watch his dynamics about it, because here's the things that you've got going for you, and I pick up on these things. You were sitting there talking about a while ago a kid that gets this NIL money, doesn't know anything about finance, doesn't know anything about these things. You're ahead of the game there, and those things are going to hit you hard, Jalin, when all this comes to reality. And those questions that are going to fire at you during those compounds, you're ready for them. And I think that's the part I'm sitting here soaking in, is this kid's ready for this stuff. And to be able to have an opportunity to sit here and have a visit with you, meet you for the first time face to face, and hear that you've got your stuff together, that's exciting, and going to be a big fan and want to watch and follow from this point forward, because of somebody's raised you right, and that's the part that settles in the most with me. So congratulations to everybody involved in that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, are you okay if the college football becomes? I know Gary Barnett really well. He is he's a former Colorado football coach, Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks it's going to become like 40 teams, kind of a mini NFL. You know what I mean? And then the rest of the college football world will kind of do it like it used to be. Are you okay if college football becomes something like that? Or what's your thought? What's college football going to become?
I mean, it's hard to say just because of how crazy it is right now. But I do think it's kind of similar to that. I think it will become a kind of thing where it's a super conference. Like obviously you have the Power 4 conferences right now.
Yeah.
I think it's going to stay like that. I think you're going to have, and it might even shorten smaller than that, but I think you're going to have 3 to 4 conferences that are going to be all the best teams, every single year.
Yeah.
And those are going to be teams compete for national championships. And, obviously, you feel bad for the teams that are under it, but, when it comes to money and, obviously some other aspects, you don't have the best stuff. So, you're going to have to, adjust. But I think, I think if they just figure out the NIL piece, honestly, I think college football
You think it'll
could be
sustain the NIL, continue to sustain
I
the
think
pace
I
it's
think the
going at?
NIL will be okay as long as they get some reins on it and
Okay.
kind of set like I almost kind of think like, obviously it's my personal opinion, I think you almost have to have a cap, like kind of how the NFL does. Like
Yeah.
you can't, like, obviously you're going to have more money than other teams. I mean, Texas A&M is going to have more money than UTSA, but I think like and maybe like the SEC has I don't know, a $100 million cap, whatever a reasonable amount of money is for one of those schools. And I think everybody has to have the same, because I think that levels the playing field. I think instead of, going to pay, well, one school can offer a freshman $3.5 million compared to the other school only being able to offer 1.5. I think you make it more fair, and you obviously give the kids a better chance instead of picking money to pick the school, because if everyone's getting offered the same thing, then you have to look deeper into what you're going to, obviously go to school for, or whatever the case may be. So I think that's going to be a better way to do it eventually.
I just had two more, if you don't mind. The turnover of the roster, now is insane. You kind of went to a place and stuck there and, went up the depth chart and all that. Now it's just a whole new team, like almost each year.
Yeah, I mean, you
how
transfer
big
all
of
the
an
time.
adjustment is that, man?
It's crazy. I mean, even for me, like I transferred twice, but I've seen guys that they're going on their fifth school in 4 years, which is insane to me. Like that blows my mind. The first person that came to mind is like TJ Finley. He's a quarterback. He's played at 5 schools in 4 years. And I mean, I just don't even know how you could do that. Like you making new friends constantly all the time. Like how are you, like how the amount of offense you're having to learn. And even as a quarterback, you're having to learn way more than everybody else. So, yeah, I mean, it's something that, it is. It's like the NFL now. Like you can get traded in a heartbeat and you're on a new team and getting ready to go play that next Sunday. So, I mean, it's an adjustment, but I think, again, like, I think you got to get some reins on that stuff. I mean, obviously, I think the transport is a great thing. Obviously, I think I use it to my advantage. I think I got to use it in a good way, but I think some people do abuse it. Like, they're like, oh, this team's offering me money. Well, like, because now, like, some guys will transfer 4 times. I'm like, how do you have that many? I thought you could only transfer twice. You got to transfer once before you graduate and once after you graduate. But I don't know. I guess
I've
there's
got
all these
a
rules now. So
I've got a theory, and of course, again, I told you from the get-go I'm old school, but I have a theory about how a little bit of that could be reined in. If you tie academic credits earned, to whether they can or can't move and transfer to another school, that puts some teeth in it. Because if they're just showing up to play football, that's one thing. But if they're having to show up and earn credits at the same time, and you have to have X number of credits to be eligible to go on a portal, that's another.
Well,
I think, and the reason I say that, and I'm just going to say it, 1% of you guys make it to the NFL.
No, for sure. Absolutely.
And so what are those other 99% going to do?
Yeah.
Give them something that has something that they can fall back on. That's the old school part in me, because there's 1% of you going to make it to the next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like the old one and done, and especially in Division I basketball, I always thought they should look. They were there that first semester. They're not even going to school the second semester. Why not make it an MBA class where you're teaching them about finances? Literally, you're in an MBA class, okay? We're going to teach you about life, where they may come back and save that money and be able to help their university eventually. Yeah. Because, I mean, they're basically there 3 months. Let's get real.
Yeah.
The one and done.
Yeah. No, I mean,
because they didn't have to go to school in January and February.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, I've talked to, and I just say that too, because like I've talked to freshmen that are they're like, yeah, how do I get a debit card? I'm like, you don't even know how to do a debit card, and you got $700,000 waiting on you.
Yeah.
Like that blows my mind. Like I'm just like, golly, like we're so like y'all are so in so much trouble. Like God, it just blows my mind. But I mean, Hey, like I said, I think there just needs to be some reins put on it. I like your idea. I mean, like you said, like you go to college to get a degree, and obviously you get to do football with it.
Supposed to.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're transferred 5 times, I mean, that's 5 different schools of teachers and getting a degree in what, at that point. So
it's changed though.
For sure.
Let's be.
No doubt about it, and I'm not naive to that.
Yeah.
If you're going to put some boundaries on it, I think that's one set of teeth.
Academics is definitely a way to do it.
I think you put a set of teeth in there.
Yeah. I like that idea, actually. If you can sustain it, I don't know.
You don't hear conversations like this anymore, or you didn't up until now. Bill Belichick signs for $10 million a year, and this is how much NIL money he has to work with. That's part of his contract.
The whole verbiage is different.
You don't hear that. That's going to be the new norm.
Yeah. Well, Mark Adams, the former Texas Tech men's basketball coach, told me, and this is the elite of the elite, Jalin, that like you said, the first thing they ask goes, Coach, here's my NIL number. Can you match it so then we can start talking? Right. They didn't ask about playing time or the facility,
which is crazy to me because for me personally, like obviously, don't get me wrong, like I remember coming on my tech visit, and they're like, "How much you want to get paid?" And I was like, "Can we talk about football first?" And they're like,
Wow.
they were genuinely surprised.
Okay.
Like I'm not even kidding. They're
That's
like,
cool.
and they're like, I was like, honestly, I'll be honest, like if y'all just can match what ASU did, which was like, I'll be honest, wasn't a crazy amount.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. Like. It's if I have enough to handle my rent for the month and can go spend a little money on myself to go get food every once in a while, like I'm good. I don't need to go buy a bunch of designer clothes and shoes. Like obviously, if I have money, like I want to be able to spend it on my brothers, like get them Christmas gifts or get them tickets to games, stuff like that. But like I mean, I don't know. Like $1 million great. Like I remember talking to Carter and he was like, "How much money do you get?" And I was like, "It's nothing crazy." Like he's like, "You're not in the millions." I was like, "I'm not even close." It's like not even close at all, but like I'm comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
You're gonna be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. Hopefully, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Then once I have it, then I'll splurge.
I got
a little
one
bit.
question left for him.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
want to see if he's got an answer. Where's Leah Chavez going?
Oh, I want to say she'll come to Tech.
What do you think of that money? It's like 2-3 million and a house.
Yeah, and she's the number one player in country.
Country and Monterey. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
if Tech can land her, I mean, it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah,
for
they're in the
women's
ball
Tech
game
basketball.
supposedly with Texas. UCLA though, she had a visit.
Yeah, because she said she's down to 3.
I think
couple schools.
She visited UCLA recently, and
I mean,
they're
for her,
number one in the nation.
I mean, for her, like, if I could tell her anything, like
Yeah.
how I think about it is like, you're getting to play in front of your hometown crowd. You're gonna fill up that place. You're probably gonna score 30 a game because if you score 50 in high school, I mean, obviously you're gonna play in the Big 12. You're gonna score a lot of points. I mean, obviously you're gonna have girls like Bailey Maupin, Jada Wynn's coming back. I don't know a bunch of the girls on there. I know some of them, but like they have a good basketball team now. They have a good record. Don't they?
They've done very well.
So, like, I mean, you add her to the mix. I mean, obviously, Miss Gerlich, who I've known for a long time, I grew up with her son, Braden.
Oh wow.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's everything you asked for. I mean, that's kind of what I thought about. I'm coming back home and playing in front of a crowd. It's going to be sold out all the time. Tech fans are crazy. Like, you're going to have probably 95% of the Lubbock Monterey at your games. Like, why not?
Yeah.
And you're going to get paid for it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
at
gonna
the end of the
text Krista when we get done. Tell her you called her Miss Girl.
She'll
That's
love that.
classy.
day-
That's
Yeah.
classy.
Hey, it's Christmas time. Our last one, I promise. Favorite all-time Christmas movie, Jimmy? What's yours?
I told you last time.
know.
I have to go with a Christmas Story, and there's a reason for that, Jalin. I got my right eye put out with a BB gun when I was 10, and it was
Really?
long before Ralphie was ever even a character.
Wow.
But I'm the original Ralphie, so I've got to go with
That's a good
Christmas
one.
Story.
I like that. What about you? What do you go with,
this
man?
is so hard. I really do want to say Home Alone. That's the first thing that comes to mind because
Yeah.
that's where I first thought everything mischievous I've ever done could really become possible. Like that's where I was like, you know what? If he can get away with this, so can
So
I.
could I. So you
Yeah.
tried a few
I
of
will
those?
say this: National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That's a good one.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of that one too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's good stuff.
How about
Yeah.
you?
I'm a Grinch guy.
That's a good
one.
I love even the old school cartoon. I still love that. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily Jim Carrey, but yeah, I love the old school. So
Good stuff.
yeah,
Thank
Jay,
you so much
yeah.
for taking time
Oh,
today.
thanks for having me.
Man, it was so good. We love the insight, man. We wish you the best, and I just want everybody out to know this is who he is. Never forgot us, media guys here in the 806. Kale and I always got a kick out of it when we'd go down, and he would treat us a little special. We'd walk out of there and say, "Wow."
They've been
They're
bothering
asking,
me
"How
since
did-"
I was 15.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Hey, thanks a lot.
No,
And
thanks for
good
having
luck.
me. I really
We
appreciate it.
appreciate it. We're rooting for you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Maddie.
All right. Hey, let's hop out of here. We will be back soon. This was the Fieldhouse Podcast. Remember, it's a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network. Have a great day.
Fantastic.